Go. Good morning, everyone. My name is Dan Allen. We're right at the top of the hour. This is our weekly Q&A on the trading side of our project. My co-host, my partner, Mr. Tito Avila, will be uh, manning the ship, if you will. Mr. Avila, can you hear me clearly?
Loud and clear.
The call is yours, sir. I look forward to what's about to be co-created.
Roger that. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. Um, Beautiful Saturday, the 12th of December. Let's get into these charts and let's get to answer some questions. You got a question, go ahead and unmute yourself or go ahead and drop it in the chat, either one. And I'm just going to get my screen situated. Here we go, Mr. Allen.
Absolutely.
It's all happening.
It did both. It broke the 1 hour support. 1 hour trend line, got some dancing, and then when broke the 4 hour right at the look how pretty that 4 hour trend line is we drew.
Real nice, yep.
And It got a retracement right back to it twice.
That's right.
Almost like we know how to trade or something.
Yeah, and I don't think it's done necessarily, but
absolutely,
we'll see. It's interesting. This how this action here, it kind of mirrored itself. It replicated here, boom, and then it did it again here.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting.
if because of recording, that red line, that slight green line, and that yellow line.
Have you been here already? Oh, you gotta go in gate 2, not this hole.
We drew that last week, leaving out of the session on what we were seeing coming out of the market. So that's why we're looking at it. The blue line, I think, is new. You kind of drew that afterwards to point the direction.
Yeah, I was just kind of pointing the direction. I may have even been afterwards when I was talking to somebody.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just kind of just like, this is where I think it's going to be heading to for a little while.
Do me a favor. Once it broke the 1 hour trend line, this is going to be a crazy number because it's Bitcoin, but can you measure how high it went before it started going back down?
See. All the way down to the bottom?
No. Just to the trend line.
Oh, okay.
To the green one. Right there. How much is that?
433 pips.
So it took 433 pips to the north, then turned around and had it dance to the south.
That's right.
Yeah. Anyway, that's all. I can see a number, so I'll be needing to see the actual number to make it make all the way sense for myself.
Right. Yeah, it's just playing in this channel now.
What do you mean by channel?
Yeah. Joanne, did you have a question? I see you're unmuted. I'm not sure if you had something.
You said it's playing in the channel. Channel is in the regular middle class word. What do you mean by channel?
Oh, I got you. Channel. So when we say price is in a channel, it just means that it's inside of a sort of boundary of support and resistance. So for example, we could say this right here, this area is a key level of support, right? So we draw a line there, and then up here, around where this other red line is, that would be like a key level of resistance. So as we can see right now, price is playing inside of that channel, which just means that it's staying inside of those boundaries.
Awesome.
Can that be called a zone as well, or no? Just a channel?
You could call it a zone. I mean, typically zone is used to describe, you know, a key level itself. So you, for example, like if we were to say, like, instead of having this clear thin line of support, if you were to say like, okay, this is the zone. Some people like to do it this way and work with zones versus let's say key levels, but ultimately it's just different ways of saying the same thing, and it's a question of style. But if you're looking at this on a more macro scale, if you're zooming out and looking at it, let's say like on a weekly, this could potentially be referred to as a zone, this whole channel, or even on a daily. But that's just from my perspective. I don't know if Mr. Allen, you got another view on it.
Can you make the way you made that box? Can you box in the whole channel for me first, so we can kind of
Box in.
the whole channel? Yep.
Gotcha.
Well, damn.
Right. So we're on a 1 hour time frame. This would clearly be for what we're talking about a channel. Take the same chart, take it up to the weekly, like you said, so they can see it.
Mm-hmm.
Where's that?
That little purple line, the purple box on top of the word for 4 hour trend. Open it up some more, Tito. Stretch it. Right. So on a 4 hour chart, it looks like a zone, but on an hour chart, it would be a channel, something you're actually using to make decisions off of. A zone, you're saying, okay, if it comes down to this area, then we'll make this decision. When you're actually in that time frame and as a channel, you could potentially be looking to take trades inside the channel. So
That's right.
they're interchangeable depending on as you change time frames. But I wanted you to see it, because when you see somebody draw what look like a thin box like it is now, if you go down to a smaller time frame, it's not a thin box anymore. So it's absolutely interchangeable, but you would use the term differently when you're applying it to your business.
Right.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Absolutely.
Yes, ma'am.
Tito, how much would you have made if you would have got in? Can you take it back down to the hour?
Yeah.
If you were trading $1 a pip, right? So just the number of the pips becomes the dollar amount. If you would have got in at that second retracement where it's at the top of the 4 hour trend line, breaking up to your right and down to that peak where it drops, where it gives you that long wick, which would have been the bottom of our zone or channel. Like that. How much is that?
That's 1,682 pips.
Awesome. So at some period of time since last week to the direction south that we were kind of looking at too, there was, again, if you were trading $1 per pip, there was 1,600 pips that moved. And of course, you could change your wager a whole bunch of different type of ways. But I think Mr. Rambis got some of that.
Nice. It's going to be an interesting new year, that's for sure. So what do we got, guys? Go ahead and ask a question, whatever you got on your mind. We got quite a bit going on today, so we definitely want to maximize our time. Make the most of the opportunity.
Hey, Tito, it's Franco.
What's up, Franco?
What's up,
Good morning.
Pop? Listening to Coach Max with her 20 pips and dips. She talked about you can double the account. So she was pulling in like $400, $500 a week. I think it was $200 and $2 the leverage. I think it was. I don't remember exactly, but she said you could double the account. Instead of 500 a week, it's 1,000 a week. She kind of lost me on that. Like, how do you do a second trade? Is she talking about a second account, or is she talking about doing 2 trades on the same account? Because she said she was able to double her profit.
So
Can you explain that?
your question is, what does she mean when she says she was able to double her account on one trade or in 1 week?
It looked like on the same trade, and she doubled it.
Yeah. Well, that would mean that one of 3 things happened. Either A, she was able to win a trade with very high leverage, right? Or with a very high lot size, which means that's the amount of money, let's say, she put on the trade with a very high leverage, to where even if it was just a short distance that Price had to travel, the result of that ended up with the account being double. It could also mean that this may have been like a longer term trade that did travel a great distance where the leverage didn't have to be that high in order to double the account, or some kind of combination of both. So I would have had to heard exactly what she said to get a feel for it, but it just sounds to me like, between the lot size, the leverage, and the quality of the trade itself, that's really what she's trying to teach, right? Is how you can have all of the tools in your toolbox to be able to do the same, and get your skill level and your confidence to a level to where you can do the same. But obviously, risk management always comes first. You never want to come into these markets with a mindset of, oh, I got to double my account in one trade, and Coach Max will be the first one to tell you that. It's just let's say a future possibility of once you get to that point. I don't know, Mr. Allen, you got some thoughts on that?
Yeah,
Thank
absolutely. You. So it's as you get into the space, what I like to do, because I come from a very middle class perspective, Franco, is I like to translate things as simple as possible for myself and then go from there, right? So when we're saying the word trading, it can mean a bunch of things, right? So I want to give a definition, then I'll try to answer the question. When every time I press the button to buy or sell, I call that taking a position, right? So we're in the trade, but I took a position to get into the trade. Does that make sense first?
Yes.
Okay, so now there's 2 ways to get double the result, right? One, I can start trading at 0.01, with a 0.1, which would be $1 per pip. And then if I got 20 pips, I made $20. I can then, the next time, instead of going 0.1, I can go 0.2. Then that same 20 pip movement is now worth $40 instead of $20 because I doubled how much I was wagering. That's one way.
Right.
The second way, for the same 20 pip movement, I can press the button twice. So like you're saying, I can take 2 positions for the same movement. So I can say, I really think it's going to go that way. I'm going to press the button twice. Bop, bop. And now they take the same 20 pip movement. Now I close both trades, both positions, right? I close both positions, and I've also made $40. So that's
that's what she was saying. There you go. You hit it.
Hey, Mr. Allen, you helped me out with that before because it stood out in my mind when I first looked at Coach Max as well. So I knew exactly what he was asking. I was going to intervene, but you hit it right on, Mr. Allen, because he said, I'm telling y'all, pay attention. I clicked twice, and I didn't understand it. You made it clear, just like you're making it clear now.
Right. Hold on. I remember she was saying it went up, and I didn't get 20. I got 40. Well, how you do that? That's
right. How you get 40? Yeah. There you go. You got it.
Absolutely. So
thank you, Salim. Thank you, Alan.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Back over to you, Tito.
Absolutely. And when you take 2 positions on a trade like that, that's a reflection of the level of confidence that the confluence have given
You could take
So,
double the loss, right,
Yeah.
Tito? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
You could
well,
take double
yeah.
the loss.
of course. So,
Right.
Coach,
And
when
can
we,
y'all,
when
can
we-
y'all, and Mr. Tito, can y'all physically show that, Mr. Allen? Can y'all show that how you click twice? Can't you demonstrate how you click twice on this
Well-
this session right here, or no?
Well, it's the weekend, and so only thing really moving is BTC, and I got live accounts, so no for me. But is you press the actual buy button 2 times.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
so in your demo account, you take the trade by pressing buy if you wanted to go up, then you just go right back in and do it again.
And that's and this is so obviously this is something that nobody's going to be doing this on day one, but
Right,
a
right.
principle that I've heard Coach Ryan say a couple of times, and for me it's absolutely fundamental, and I've found it to be very true, at least for me, and my trading style is that your first entry is usually your worst entry. So with that in mind, understanding that it's okay to see the opportunity and just get your foot in the door, right, of the trade and get a position open, but pay attention for if a better opportunity arises for that. And what I mean by that is that, as you can see, just as a simple example, as you can see here on this chart, price in these markets rarely moves in a perfectly straight line, right?
Right.
There is a natural fluctuation that happens, almost like the market is breathing. So depending on where you get in, you may get what we call a retracement, right? Or some pullback,
Right.
to where maybe you can get a better second entry. So that's stuff to think about. For me, that is true 90% of the time, that my first entry is usually my worst entry. So,
Can you define retracement?
Yeah, so retracement is just what I was talking about, as far as how price sometimes fluctuates, down, maybe in the opposite direction from where you were wanting to go. So for example, like, let's say in this case with Bitcoin, right, you see right here, let's say at this hammer that you wanted to, let's say you were going for right here for a long position.
What does long mean?
So you were wanting to buy. So right here, let's say that you went in, okay, and then let's say that you were doing this for a long term. This is not like, a scalping in and out type of trade. Let's say this is a longer term trade, and then this position is open here, but then you see at some point price touches back down to the bottom of the channel. Well, maybe this is a good time to get a second entry in. I'm not saying to do that in this case, because I wouldn't do that with what's happening with Bitcoin right now.
I think Tito, what she was saying, as I remember it a little better now, as you're talking, she said, once you get comfortable, once you master that first level, she said, once I mastered it, and she said it took her years to master it. What she found out after years of mastering, that she could do that second position. So she wasn't saying do it right away. She was saying once you master it, then you can double that profit. Right. So, thank you for clarifying that. I just got excited. I was like, oh snap, you could double your money. What? 2 for the price of 1? That's like a Puerto Rican discount, bro. You get 2 for the price of 1.
Double down in the position. Absolutely. You could take 10 positions.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that's something in the future I would love for you guys to really help us with,
As far as
just like Shalene was asking, can you show it to us? But at this Saturday time, you only got the Bitcoin, but at some point,
it depends on what you're using to trade. So if you're using, let's say, MT4, that's going to look a little bit different from FX trade, or if you're trading directly via TradingView or maybe a different broker app. But more or less, they're always going to have the same features, maybe just laid out differently. So it's a question of just however it is that you do one buy order, you do that twice, you know?
And are there any repetitive patterns that you can recognize now as a seasoned trader that you can see a pattern coming up?
Absolutely. We talk about it all the time. You got continuation patterns, reversal patterns, you know, let's say trend fluctuations, things like that. Happens all the time. That's a whole, you know, chapter of its own. So you can go pretty deep.
One of the things gonna help you with that, Franco, and this is gonna take somebody from novice to comfortable super fast, as you take demo trades on the weekend was when I did it, look at the trades that you took, when you got in, when you got out, just look at them. And you'll start to see some of those patterns show up and repeat themselves from what we call chart time. Just looking at the trades you've already taken, and you can actually have them have that extra value of especially the ones you lose. The ones that you lose in demo, if you take the time and go back and look and like, what happened? They said this, I thought it was going to be that. You can start to notice some of those things in the market.
That's right. I think you're muted, Franco.
Anybody else?
Any other questions?
Good morning, team. I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, partner.
Well, I consider myself to be a scalper, and I've been working on my demo account. Give me 1 second. My thing is giving me a echo. Can you guys hear the echo?
You sound far away.
Give me 1 second. Can you guys hear me?
That's
There
perfect.
you go.
Okay, perfect. So I was telling you guys, I consider myself a scalper. So every time I trade my personal trades, I do them in demo. So I've been doing my top-down analysis. I start in the 1 day, but it just seems that by the time I get to the 5 minute or 1 minute entry, when I'm going to actually, you know, execute my whole setup and everything, it seems I use also the 20 pips and dip indicator, and it seems that when I'm on the top and my 1 day, my 4 hour, everything is looking like a sell. Everything is looking perfect. But by the time I get to the 5 minute and 1 minute, it's looking like a buy. So I'm like, I'm lost. So I want to see, maybe you can give me an example of how to do a top-down analysis and kind of, you know, just guide me.
That's a great question. Have fun, Tito.
Sorry, Tito.
Yeah, I'll jump in if you need me.
You
but
know,
that's a great question. That's a very,
no, top-down
very, very good
analysis
question.
is absolutely key. And just to kind of also piggyback off what Mr. Allen was just talking about with regard to chart time, I'm blown away at how much just observing price, just observing the charts, letting the information just go in through your eyes for extended periods of, not like of time at the same time, just over an extended period of time in the, you know, whether it's let's say half an hour a day or whatever, it just, there's a certain familiarity, the same way that when you're learning a language, let's say, over time of just being exposed to it, you start to see things naturally right off the bat, right? And in your top-down analysis, there are things and patterns that when you observe them enough over and over again across different assets, you're gonna get to a point where top-down analysis goes from being a chore to being an absolute necessity, where you'll be you know, looking forward to seeing what's happening from top down, because you already know what to look for, and you've already been conditioned to respond differently to different patterns. So for top-down analysis in general, you're going to want to start at least on the daily. I tend to like to start on the weekly, But you know, if I'm scalping, right, maybe the weekly is not going to be as relevant to me. So at the very least on the daily, you know, and this is definitely where your candlesticks are going to be absolutely crucial, because the way, in my experience, the higher up you go in time frame, the more weight each candle carries, right? Because there's more information in each candle naturally.
Yes.
So primarily, that's where I'm starting. Is I'm asking myself, what are the candlesticks telling me about what's happening, what has happened, and what's happening right now? You know, so I would start my top-down analysis here on the daily, take a look at what's happening with trend, right? Support. Look at what the latest candlesticks are telling me, right? In reference, like keeping in mind where that resistance is, that ceiling, and then, you know, work my way down. And as I'm doing this, I would be identifying and maybe marking out where the ones that I feel are most relevant are in terms of resistance, support, trend lines, and whatnot. You know, especially here on the 4 hour. And then just work my way from daily to 4 hour. I just go straight to the 1 hour from here, typically. And on the 1 hour is where I'm going to make my decision on whether or not I feel like there is enough opportunity and there are enough confluences for me to make the decision to pull the trigger on a trade today.
Okay. Is that where you turn on your 20 pips and dip indicator just to kind of give you a guide?
If I'm using 20 pips and dip indicator,
Okay.
I'll have that just on hand. But yeah, especially on the 1 hour, I would have that available. And the analysis doesn't stop at the 1 hour, right? The top-down analysis goes all the way down to the 5 minute.
Okay.
And if you're really doing some, you know, scalping, down to the 1 minute even. But the 1 hour is just the key point where I stop on my analysis to decide, am I trading this or not? I may stop here and say, I'm going on to something else.
Forget about it.
But if there is opportunity, then it's a question of identifying, okay, where's my entry going to be, and marking where I would like to enter, right? Like with a vertical line. So like, let's say we're here right now. I wouldn't, based on what's on the chart right now, this is not necessarily a place where I would enter, but I would mark it out, you know, like this, and say, okay, I'm going to work my way down to the 15, see what's happening on the 15 minute. And okay, make a note of everything that's going on the 15. And then on the 5 minute, it was where I would ultimately wait for the final confluence of where I'm going to pull the trigger on that trade. This is with the 20 pips and dip method. So whatever scalping method you're using, it really depends on the specifics of your trading rules with that.
I see. Okay. Okay, makes sense.
Tito, let me add a screen.
Yeah.
For me, this is my actual chart. One of my favorite purchases. I've said it a couple of times. Tito, look for that. Look for letting people in for me. One of my favorite purchases for 2020 has been TradingView, hands down, because I can now make colors change, and that way I know what I'm looking at. So this is my actual, whatchamacallit, my chart. So I got to do this Sunday anyway, so I'm gonna do it today with you. Is that cool? So my yellow lines are for my daily chart. If you see a gray line, it's from a weekly, and the greenish, whatever color that is, that's for my 4 hour chart. So
okay.
What I literally do is I go to the daily at the beginning of the week. Now these two lines right here was coming off the 4 hour. It was giving my bias, which was to the sell. But I'm going to go to a line chart, and I am going to take these two off because that was for a particular setup. They don't live on my chart. right? So now I have key, support, and resistance, which are these lines that's come from the 4 hour. And I have my top and bottom from the daily, right? So my daily resistance still stands, right? We haven't broken the daily resistance, but we have since last week broke the daily support. So daily support is going to come down, bada bing, right? So now that opens up some potential key levels for the 4 hour. 4 hour, I'm only caring about what's between the yellow lines right now. I'm looking for where price is support and resistance. And when I say price, back to the translation, I mean the whole line. This whole line thingy is price action to me. So right now I'm going to look for let's make the line. Where we at? Well, let's do it. So here I see price has been support, but not resistance. So I'm not going to mark it yet. I'm going to go back for some more data, just like Coach Max does in the videos. And it looks like price hasn't been this high since at least July of 2019, which is his own little wackiness, right?
Wow.
So now I'm starting from where I'm at here, I'm coming down. Here looks like one. Right here, price is resistance. And then over here is support. And I'm gonna draw the line so you can see it. Right? So you can look, and I'm gonna move it up a little bit. Down a little, right about there, right? So I'm coming down looking again. This is all support, support, support. There's nothing else to go off of. I'm not marking anything else up. So now I'm at, and if you look on the 4 hour is where I get my bias. So you can see right now, at least price wants to be going down, right? Because the line is actually pointing down. That's my bias. So when I get down to the 1 hour, I switch over to the candles. And if price was going to go down, it would have to break a trend line for me now. So on the I'm gonna show you the 4 hour bias, I'm sorry. So on the 4 hour bias, so I can tell when I'm just glancing at the chart, I would make this trend line the same color, and I will go from wick to wick. Now this one isn't my 4 hour one, and again, this is just how I've interpreted my time with Coach Max. I'm not looking for price to necessarily break this one. If it breaks this, then the market structure has changed and my bias has changed. So I'm looking this as the out of bounds line that price may come back up to and bounce. But whenever I get to a trend line, Veronica, I don't want to be in the actual trade. I want to be watching to see what price does from that spot. So I got a 4 hour trend line. So if I glance at this, because I'll have more than one chart up, I can see my biases to the sell. And now I'm going down to the 1 hour. And now I need to see what price has to break for me to have another confirmation, which adds to my confluence. So I'm going to go either from here to here, which is okay, or potentially from here to here. But my trend line is going to be a different color. And just you make up your own colors what it mean to you, but I know what's going on my chart the minute I look at it.
It makes sense to color code it and know exactly what you're looking at right off from the beginning. That makes it much easier than just having everything the same.
That's why TradingView has been my best purchase of 2020. Some people measure things by cost. I measure things by value to what my goals are. So right here, and I'm not saying I'm taking this trade, is where I would be, price would have to get on the other side of here. Now, you want to have the, I'm gonna put the, this isn't where I hang at with the 20 pip dip indicator. Hold on. I didn't know that, listen, I didn't know this last week. It's actually a full screen button, right? So I'm gonna put one I've had a 50 on right here for me. And that's just to see, am I also having a confluence, another confirmation, which makes confluence that I'm in a down market, which is under the 50, right?
Correct.
So now I'm going to if we were in a live market, I would make this vertical line like Coach Max does right here. And now I'm sitting on my hands, which is the part I hear you talking about, because now I got a down bias. When I get to the 5-minute chart, I may see a buy, and then I got some decisions to make with my life, right?
Correct.
So if I take a buy, if I did all of that analysis, I'm doing what's called counter trend trading. I'm going against what I see the market is pushing. So I'm not saying I'll never do it, but that's not where I start off at, right? So coming from the 5-minute, I'm gonna absolutely cut on my 20 pipper dip indicator. Now for this conversation, confluence literally means about 3 confirmations, right? One of your confirmations is this 50, right?
Correct.
So we're still under the 50. It's breaking my trend line, and I'd rather be on this side of the 4-hour trend line. I'd rather be over here myself, because it may get here and bounce, right? So I'm going to be measuring how much space everything is to the next thing. But so if I'm you and I'm over here and it looked like it's going up, I'm just not going to take the trade. That's why she says sit on your hands.
I see.
So now, since we're talking a 20 pip and dip indicator specifically, and we have a bias from the 4-hour chart, right? Okay, so now we're looking at this higher high, higher low thing, right? So now I got a higher low, then I have a lower low. Then I have a higher low and a higher low and a higher low. This shows me, at least on a 5-minute chart, is on a uptrend, but my bias is to the downside, right? So I'm sitting on my hands. So now on this other side, you have a higher high, which matches the uptrend. Now you have your first lower high, right? But that lower high got matched with a higher low. So now the market is in pause for me. I want to see a lower high and a lower low under the 50 and breaking my trend line. So those three confirmations become the confluence.
Wow. Okay.
So now what we just did is took 20 minutes to decide to sit on our hands. And like Tito said, there's a time on the 1-hour chart where he can go, you know what? I'm going to go to another pair for the time I'm sitting in front of the market. So when I was hunting, I was trying to make the market come to me and get it as fast as the most aggressive interest possible. Now that I'm fishing, so I shifted my trading from hunting to fishing. Now I've never fished in my life, but I watch the movies with my folks. They actually sit and wait till the bite happens. I'm watching the tuna shows now, and I'm a whole different trader. So I'm just sitting, waiting for the tuna to bite. So that's what, for me, what Coach Max means and my interpretation of sitting on your hands. Get everything ready till you know what you know, then let the market tell you. Now, one of the things you can do to be fancy is on this 1-hour trend line, you can click it, actually click an alert, tell it to tell you when it crosses down, because that's our bias. It's going to pop up on my app on my phone, and it's going to pop up here, and I'm going to hit that. So now I'm also set that it's going to be some beeping going on in my life, and I don't just press the button when I hit the beeping. I used to. I hit the beep, press the button, right? Now I hit the beep and I go look and see where are we.
Okay.
Right? So get on fishing. I used to hunt. So the beep used to mean shoot. The deer's in sight. You got to shoot right now. But nowadays it's just saying we got to bite. So hopefully this helps. I did it for the board as well, right? And so you got to be comfortable with the maturity that just because you sat at the chart for that 1 hour doesn't mean the market said that's the trade time for that pair for that same 1 hour.
Correct.
So I make this on Sunday. when I'm trading for all of the charts that I'm looking at, and then we got the little setups, and then we kind of monitor
And go
throughout
from
the
there.
week.
Got it.
But I'm not in a trade when it's getting here or on one of the trend lines. Whenever it's getting, if I'm in a trade, I'm getting out, right? Hopefully in profit. If I'm losing, I may wait a little while because I don't like to take a loss if I don't have to. But if I'm waiting to make a decision, I don't make a decision at the actual lines. I need price to tell me what it wants to tell me coming from the lines.
Makes sense.
Green is 1 hour. This whatever color this is 4 hour. This is my vertical spot to be able to track my time, and yellow is daily. For me. I hope that helps. Tito, this is your show, sir. Back to you.
Absolutely. Thanks for that sauce, Dan. I saw that you're using, I saw you got that new candlestick indicator going strong on your charts.
Oh, yeah. I need to see everything.
How you like it?
It's just fun for me because
yeah, it's very
I
cute,
I can't say it helped me make any decision, but I read the Candlestick Bible. All right. So I already knew candles to a degree, but they don't all stay in my head. So now it's kind of like it's saying Candlestick Bible moment. So and I got a movie reference, but I don't want to add a movie reference for this. But so that's what it means for me. I just want to know when it's a Harami. I want to know when it's engulfing bullish. Just tell me. You know what I mean? So, but again, I want to get a 7-figure result trading, so I kind of take it super seriously.
I got you. Very nice.
All right, gentlemen, we had a question in the chat, but it looks like she got her question answered in the dialogue. So Nikki, raise your hand if you want to go ahead and ask that question. I won't try to translate. And if you're good to go, then don't worry about it. Any other questions? Keep going, guys. I'm sorry.
No worries.
Nikki, did we help it? Did we do the thing, Nikki? Did we do it right? I don't look in the chat. Yes,
you did that. I was waiting for that. I was like, oh my God, they're answering it right now. Thank you all so much.
Awesome. I appreciate it.
All right. So we're around 11:40. Anybody got any more questions? We'll probably start winding it down now because we're going to be doing some other stuff after this.
So to finish that thought, so Veronica, when I get a trade alert, I take the trade alert through the same top-down analysis, and I expect to sit on my hands so I see a sniper entry. But it's over 28 pairs to look at. More of you take the indices, right? So when I get a trade alert, I take it like the one from over here Trading View, like it's time to look at it, right? I no longer just press the button, but if you're in demo, press the button so you can at least get some data to do your chart work with. Because you're going to get experience. But in a live account, what I do is when I get a trade alert, I take it and I put it on my chart, and I take it through the top-down analysis. And if it's a good trade, like I hope it is, the 10 minutes that I'm gonna look at it shouldn't kill me, but it's gonna protect me. So I take I take our trading signals as very strong indications of where to go to sit on our hands until a sniper entry happens.
Sounds good.
Which is what I was wanting to tell you a couple of talks ago, remember?
Yeah, you did. Yes.
So I hope that helps everybody.
It does.
Mr. Rambis, I heard Tito wrapping up. So, sir, if you want to jump in and promote the stuff that's happening for the day for everybody, then Tito we can do the one last question stuff and then get off.
Absolutely. Thank you again, gentlemen. Great job today, as always. And let me pause a little bit because I know there's somebody who has a question they haven't asked yet, right? I want to allow that to happen. That's what this is. This is a safe place, everybody. So you can come here every Saturday. All of your new family members you enroll, you want them here every Saturday. We're creating a bridge for the Epic training system, right? So you can actually have this family trading reunion every Saturday. We also do this for the team building side on Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern, the Builders Academy, for those who want to build the residual income side as well. And all of this information is shared in our Millionaire March Facebook group. If you're not in that group, then you're going to miss information for what we're doing as a family and a lot of announcements from the company perspective as well. So today's calendar at noon and 5 and 9 p.m. Eastern, we will be doing an opportunity presentation for all of your prospects and contacts. So feel free to promote those, which will happen again all day today, all day tomorrow. Every single Saturday and Sunday, we do it 3 times a day. So that's at noon, 5 p.m. and 9 p.m. Today and tomorrow. That Zoom webinar link is 777-434-6287. Promote that to your guests. It's promoted in the Millionaire March Facebook group as well. The Blitz for 12, 5, and 9 for your prospects. Also, we actually have the Success Lab at 1 p.m. for our corporate training. Again, that's at 1 o'clock today. Success Lab, which is always phenomenal team building strategies and the home-based business philosophies taught from the top earners and leadership of the company. That's at opportunity.epictrading.com. That's your corporate trading platform, training platform every Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern. Again, appreciate you all guys for being on. If you haven't registered for Vegas, get registered for Vegas. I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you very much, sir. So if there are any more questions, we got time for maybe one more. We'll give a quick moment here for anybody that might have one to chime in.
I don't have a question, Tito. I just have a comment. I appreciate Dan so much for those analogies. I know sometimes he hesitates to give them out, but they're much appreciated, because as the hunting and fishing analogy, I was still taking my gun out to the water. So I was transitioning, and every time I come to these meetings, I feel a lot better about becoming a fisherman and leaving my gun at home. So I appreciate you, Dan. I appreciate all you guys. Thank you.
I received that. Thank you.
There's always more to be said about having the emotional fitness and the will to sit on your hands and do nothing. I tell people that in these markets, you have to be willing to walk away and pat yourself on the back for it. You have to be willing to walk away sometimes and take no trades or make $0 and be proud of it, because the name of the game here is not making a whole bunch of money real fast. The name of the game here is learning how not to lose money, in my opinion. So I'll leave it at that. Mr. Allen, you got anything else you want to add?
The fishing show changed my life. I'm sitting watching, and the person watching it, he don't trade. And these guys are catching tuna, going in, measuring how much it weighed, the whole little thing, whatever the show is about. And I'm sitting, D, and I'm like, they sitting out there for days waiting for, they can't make the fish bite. When the fish bite, it's a go. Until the fish bite, chill. And I just said, he's sitting on his hand. Ah! So I think stuff like that comes when you're in the motion, right? That's why I want everybody to be able to do that demo trading and then at chart time, especially the losses, right? Because they said it was going to do this. So why did somebody think that? And then so just who I see us being if you're on the call today, who I see us being is if you're on this call from now to next year this time, I can't see a reason why you don't know how to get 20 pips out the market. And once you can get 20 pips out the market comfortably, you can write your own check for what we were talking about with Franco, from either taking more than one trade, cool, or just systematically increasing your lot size. So if you take 20 pips a day and you're able to trade $27 per pip, I told you last night, if you can raise your margin strong enough, which is my main reason for the B quadrant side, to feed my I quadrant check, right? But if you can raise your margin account so that your risk management stays the same from 10 cents per pip to 27 cents per pip, right? So we'll go over that stuff too if we need to at times. Like there'll be some people that'll start showing they can get 20 pips out the market. That's my threshold to have a higher level conversation with anybody. But D, because I know I've seen your video and you and your wife have an amazing story, right? If you can take 20 pips every day and then get comfortable enough to where your risk management is intact, so you have a large enough margin so you can wager $27 per pip, which is 2.70 on a lot size. That's $540 a day. We did the math. If you do that 4 days a week, I take off on Fridays, that's 2,160 per week. We did the math. If you do that for a month, which is 4 weeks, you now have 8,000, I believe 8,460 is the number. We did the math, right? And so if you can do 8,460 a month, because you were doing 20 pips a day at 2.7 lot size, that's $100,000 a year just trading. But I can't talk to somebody about $100,000 a year, D, until I can talk to them about 20 pips. And I can't talk to them about 20 pips until they go in the demo. So my advice to everybody here, because y'all our family, is to get into demo until you can do 20 pips a day consistently. 50 pips is great. You only get to count 20. 19 pips don't count. You'll go get 20. You got 100 pips in US 30, Veronica, I don't care. Go get 20. And when you get 20 pips a day, and if we do it 4 days a week, we can start at 0.01, which is 10 cents per pip. You'll make $2 that day. It won't be exciting. But once you get to 20 pips, the rest of it now is math. It's a skill set, then it's math. And Tito and I are both comfortable on both sides of that conversation. We just got to get the family comfortable to get okay with demo, then get okay with the skill set, and then the process. It's already laid out. Check my math behind me. That's why we did it on the recording. With that, sir, now I'm done, because D just inspired me talking about my story helped out. But that's our process. I'm very selfishly looking to break six-figure traders. We got it already. You don't need US 30. I love it. I'm tracking it. But I'm tracking it to go get a quick 20 instead of a slow 20 with the euro dollar. So we got a game plan here that's going to be exciting to most middle-class Americans. And if you choose to do the B quadrant side, one, you're empowering other people to get the I quadrant check done, but two, you're getting a chance to get some extra income to feed your margin account so we can get to the $27 per pip faster. Because we don't want to change our risk management from 0.01, which is 10 cents per pip, to $27 per pip. So it's a systematic math equation once you have the skill set. Tito, I'll turn it over to you to close this out.
Roger that. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, everybody, for your questions. If you have more questions or anything didn't get addressed on this Q&A, go ahead and drop it in the GEP chat. And if you're not in the GEP chat, please get with your sponsor and we'll make it happen. Other than that, thank you once again, Mr. Allen, Mr. Rambis, and have a blessed weekend, and we'll see you all next week.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Tito, are we staying here for the Latin version?
Thank you.
Is it the same address, Tito?
Yes.